Welcome to Mr. American Lit 18 and the Lit Nation, a tutorial in American literature. We're here to help you understand and comprehend classic American literature from Puritan lit, rationalism, romanticism, all the way through the history of America and into modernism. So stick around and join the American Lit Nation. Welcome to Structure of an Argument. Improve your written arguments. An argument refers to expressing a point of view on a subject and supporting it with evidence. Did you know that almost everything you do and you write for school can be considered an argument? What is the basic format for an argument? Well, it starts off with a claim. This is something that you believe in, also known as a thesis or idea. You back this idea up with evidence, something to support the claim. Something that helps with your evidence is what is known as a warrant or a bridge. After that, you come up with a counterclaim, something against you. Believe it or not, yes, it makes sense to offer up someone else's idea to help prove your own. We'll talk about that in just a few moments. Then there's the rebuttal. Yes, this is how you respond to the counterclaim. I will go in great detail in just a moment on how to offer up quality rebuttals. And then you have a call to action. This is the conclusion of the paper. This is when you want somebody to respond to your paper in the way that you want them to respond. Now let's take a look at each one of these in more detail. We will start off with evidence. Evidence supports the claim. It includes facts, statistics, specific examples, and personal examples, which are known as anecdotes. It also appeals to authority and appeals to people's emotions. That is known as pathos. You want to include a warrant or a bridge. What is this, you ask? This is an explanation of why or how data supports the claim. The underlying assumption that connects your data to the claim. Including a well-thought-out warrant or bridge is essential to writing a good, argumentative essay or paper. If you present data to your audience without explaining how it supports your thesis, your readers may not make a connection between the two, or they may come up with a different conclusion than what you intended. After your warrant or bridge, it would be wise to offer a counterclaim. Why is this, you ask? And what is this, you ask? Well, a counterclaim negates or disagrees with your claim. Including counterclaims makes you look more credible because you appear to be knowledgeable about the entirety of the debate, rather than just being biased or uninformed. You may want to include several counterclaims to show that you have thoroughly researched the topic. Make sure you're charitable, present each other's argument fairly and objectively, rather than trying to make it look foolish. Remember, you want to show that you have seriously considered the many sides of an issue and that you are not simply attacking your opponents. Make sure that you consider only one or two counter-arguments in depth, rather than just giving a long, superficial list of different counter-arguments and so forth. After the counterclaim, you have the rebuttal. The rebuttal is evidence that negates or disagrees with the counterclaim. Once you have thought up of some counter-arguments, consider how will you respond to them. Will you concede that your opponent has a point, but explain why your audience should accept your argument? Or will you reject the counter-argument and explain why it is mistaken? In either way, you will want to leave your reader with a sense that your argument is stronger than opposing arguments. That is your rebuttal. After the rebuttal, this is the end. It is the conclusion. It is the call to action. Conclusions wrap up what you have been discussing in your paper. And after moving from general to specific information in the introduction and body paragraphs, your conclusion should begin pulling back into more general information. This will restate your main points of your argument. Conclusions should do at least one of the following. Should summarize the main points of the argument, or make a call to action, or suggest that no action be taken. You can also propose a solution as a way to conclude your paper, or suggest possible research into a future situation or that situation even deeper. That's how you offer up your call to action. Now, let's take a look and see what you remember, and here are the directions. Press pause, then label a new page in your spiral notebook. Press play again, and then you will copy and answer the questions on the next slide. Of course, you will need to press pause. then you will present to Mr. Wells for approval. Now here are the questions. Let's see what you have learned. Question number 1. What part of the argumentative paper explains how or why the data supports the claim? Question number 2. What part of the AP, as you can guess, that is argumentative paper, concludes the AP paper? Number 3. What supports the claim and includes facts, examples, stats, etc.? Question number 4. What is the idea of the writer called? This is the main idea. This is what you support. Remember that slide? I think you do. And number 5, what part of the AP, or as we know, argumentative paper, disagrees with the writer's idea? Remember, this is a way to show that you are wise about all sides of the arguments. And number 6, lists the element that should be included in the call to action. One of the items I said that should use to wrap up your call to action. And what part of the paper responds to the counterclaim? All right. Now, get to it. Let's answer these 7 questions. Remember, write the questions down in your spiral notebook. Write your answers. Present them to Mr. Wells for his approval. Moving on, let's look at rhetorical appeals, ethos, logos, and pathos. All right, let's look at ethos. This appeals using credibility, ethics, education, and evidence. Logos appeals to relying on logical responses to the situation and facts, evidence presented by the speaker. And then there's pathos. This is appeals to a person's emotion, causes a call to response and a call to action, usually embedded in any good argument. Oh, yes, one more check. Yes, in the spiral notebook. Here we go. Answer these questions. Question number 1. Which of the rhetorical devices relies on the listener or reader becoming emotionally moved by the argument? Question number 2. Which rhetorical device is using evidence and credibility to persuade the reader or listener into believing in the argument? And question number 3. What suggests that based on the facts, the reader or listener should respond in a certain way? All right, this is your check. This concludes the lesson on the structure of an argument. Thank you for tuning in for this tutorial from Mr. American Lit 18. If you would like to be notified each time I upload a new video, be sure to subscribe and click on the bell. Be sure to click on one of the cards to link directly to some of my other videos. Good luck, and I hope this helps.